Hello, welcome to your weekly tarot reading for all zodiac signs. This is for February 21st to 28th, and we are ready to get started with Aries, the leaders of the pack. You have the Death card this week. Must be Chiron and Aries just really making you heal some shit that had you being held back energetically. So this week, it's a major transformation and opportunity to literally be dead and then reborn, like to actually just pretend that the past is completely gone, right? It's kind of like having a reincarnation experience. As much as I can feel the energy of my past lives, I know that that doesn't really affect me in this lifetime. So I need to move on, right? And just hope to God that nothing is holding me back. So your Aries energy this week, you have an opportunity to essentially create the past as if it's like a past life. Really separate yourself from that energy and start fresh, move on. It's a huge blessing to have that. It's a gift, right? You have it this week, so embrace it. If you are a Taurus, your card is face down this week, but it is the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is all about essentially victory and also family support. So family support, and especially like friend support period, is kind of at a crossroads right now. I don't want to say crossroads because I'm seeing like when the geese migrate to the south. So when I think of like your family support, it's like they're just not here. They've migrated off somewhere in their mind or in their head or in their space. They're on a tropical island, and here you are in the throes of the coldness in February, and just not really seeing that support that you would like to see. This is all beneath the surface. So this is something that you've continuously pushed down, feeling like the sun is shining down on family and friends, and here you are out in the cold. They want you to come they want you to come over to this side to where it's, constantly sunny and hot and bright. They want you to, but you've actually blocked your ability to move forward in order to bask in that sunlight. So this week, February 21st to February 28th, you will see a little glimpse of that where they are kind of beckoning you, hey, get on that plane and come with us. And it actually is your resistance that is stopping that. So recognizing it and then just actively saying, I'm not going to resist anymore. It's warm over there. I got my sunblock. I'm going to go over there and start enjoying what the life in the world has to offer me within my support system. Okay, if you are a Gemini, I saw the Four of Wands. After I saw this, I texted my father-in-law. I'm like, are you proposing tomorrow? But this is for February 21st to February 28th. This energy, the Four of Wands, is of course, it's not necessarily proposing, but it is just feeling more happiness and harmony and love within the family that you've created, like within your foundation. So it's almost like you can feel a block being placed within your foundation this week, and it just feeling a little bit more rooted, a little bit more secure. And with that, it does bring a level of harmony, new beginnings, happiness, especially when it relates to our family and, like I said, our foundation. Okay, Cancer energy is up next. Cancer, this week you have more opportunities coming in. Eight of Wands says, hey, this is what's up. This is a very fast acting, I was going to say fist. So I'm thinking that maybe there is some pushback. You are fighting this new beginning, and it's because it requires a very hasty decision, a very quick moving decision. There is a woman on a motorcycle, and that's what's prompting me to say this, but on a motorcycle, you really need to just have confidence that the faster you go, the safer you are, right? With motorcycles, it's kind of like a bike. You got to be moving in order to keep it upright. So you need to be going at a very fast pace, high speed, momentum right now when it comes to a decision you're making, very hasty decision that you are making. And this week, it's about just having the thrill of the excitement of this adventure, right? Like, you're alive, so enjoy it. There's no point of being on a motorcycle. You got on the motorcycle. There's no point of going fast and not feeling the wind in your hair and not, experiencing that thrill and that adrenaline rush. If you're on the motorcycle and you're terrified and you're shaking the wheel, like screw that. Have fun. This is life. This is exciting. This is a journey. This is momentum. This is what is needed to really shake it up. Leos, we have the 9 of Cups, which is all about emotional contentment, just feeling really confident, cool, happy, just feeling like you have a little bit more emotional security than you would have had in some other weeks. And what you do with that emotional security and happiness is bust your ass. You get to work. You start loading up on responsibilities, on your duties, keeping your head down, wanting to stay in this energy of happiness. So what you're doing is, let me get so much done when I have the energy. That is absolutely perfect. Just making sure that you're not burning yourself out, right? Just because you're feeling great this week, right, doesn't mean to just go absolute apeshit. You still want to try and balance it out and have, being able to carry that harmonious and content energy further and longer, and not being burnt out by the end of the week, being like, I just did so much and now I'm resentful. Okay, if you are a Virgo, this week we have the Fool card. So an opportunity is coming for you to take some sort of risk. To tell a Virgo not to worry is kind of cruel on my part, just because I know that really is kind of ingrained into the Virgo energy, right? Like, of course, there's going to be anxiety. Of course, there's going to be worries, just because of that Mercury energy that says, think about everything. And then like a train going off the tracks, thoughts just completely take us away. So this week you have an opportunity to take some sort of risk, to just go for it. And what you're going to be challenged to do is to not worry about it. Like I said, it's not the nicest thing for me to just sit here and tell a Virgo not to worry, but that worry ends up being baggage, right? That worry ends up holding you back, because just plain terms, if you are worrying about something, you're essentially hoping for the worst. And it's really just a way to say, see, told you so, I knew it. And it's like, well, okay, now what? Like, you knew it and you worried about it. So if you knew that it was coming, do you have a plan B? Do you have like another option? If you worried about it, you should have all these other options and backup plans, because you worried about it. Or are you putting all of your energy into just worrying about it and not coming up with solutions to those worries? So this week, the best way to get foolish is to just plan out scenarios, the worst that could happen if you were to take this risk, and then the solution to the worst thing that could happen, right? And then everything should just seem a little bit more organized. And of course, with that organization, Virgo is soaring. All right, if you chose, oh, sorry, I always do that. If you are a Libra, this card is face down for you this week, February 21st to February 28th. And it is the Devil card. And it's interesting how you don't see their faces in this deck. Like, this is a faceless energy, because there's really not anybody to specifically put into this negative attachment. At the end of the day, the negative attachments that you do have are always going to be stemming from the parents, from the childhood. Really going back to your childhood this week, looking at the relationships that you formed within your childhood and just reflecting on them and possibly releasing them while you still can. So looking back on the chains that kind of hold us hostage. Another awesome thing that I do that ends up really helping me is when I go back on my childhood and I'm remembering these family friends or my siblings' friends that had a huge, massive impact on me. Like, come on, like your brother's best friend, like that is your best friend, right? They had these huge, massive impacts on me. So what I've been doing is I've been creeping them on Facebook, finding their birthdays, and then understanding the zodiac sign energy that affected me as a child. Oh, my stepdad was a Cancer. That totally explains why this is that. And with that, like, I don't know if it's just because astrology really helps me like that, but with that, I'm able to be like, oh, okay, it's just because they were an Aries and I was, that snot-nosed kid and they just wanted to go have fun and I was that anchor. So going back into our childhood and finding the zodiac sign, or at least even like understanding their energy from an adult level and realizing that had an impact on you as a child. And then it will start to explain some of the negative attachments we have to our current relationships, just based on that. Oh, now I attracted in all these moon and cancers as in-laws as a way of healing my relationship with my married in Cancer stepfather. See what I'm saying? Okay, if you are a Scorpio, this week we do have some conflict. I love that, you know, there's masks here because that's just, I guess, an inside joke. But the Five of Wands is all about conflict and nobody actually hurting each other. It's just the threat of conflict. It's interesting, like I said, the mask thing, because the mask reminds me of something being airborne. You know, you can't see it, but you know that it is a potential threat. So when it comes to the conflict in your life right now, even though you can't see it and they're not screaming in your face, there is still a threat there, right? Like I was just talking to a client and the main takeaway was don't with the Scorpio. Do not mess with the Scorpio. I just kept saying it because the energy that the Scorpio has, it can take out any of their opposers, any of their threats, no problem. But it's the energy that is not seen within the face-to-face conflict, right? So for Scorpio energy this week, there is a conflict there that's very much like background. You're not seeing it. It's not directly in your face, but it still 100% is a threat. So it's about protecting yourself like a mask would from an airborne illness. It's about protecting yourself from the threats that you're not seeing. And you do that through protection spells, through crystals, through putting up a bubble of protection, but most importantly, through recognizing that what goes around comes around. What you put out there comes back ×3. So putting out even just a small little slight, you're getting it back ×3. You end up just hurting yourself. So this week, the conflict that you are seeing behind, like that you know is there without having to see it, that background conflict, it is time to start thinking about how you can mitigate that through Dharma, through putting out harmony, through putting out peace. I'm going to actively mediate this conflict over here as a way of showing the universe that I want the conflicts that I can't see in my life completely mediated and resolved. Okay, if you are a Sagittarius, this week we have some good news coming in, really good news, like some sort of announcement coming in, and it's coming from your foundation, so from your family. This good news or this announcement is obviously positive for your foundation, but I think that you could not be bothered with it. I think that it's something where it's like, okay, like, which is interesting. And the only reason why it's not something that you care to be bothered with is because you're more focused on filling your own cup right now, which is beautiful. And there's really no shame in that. So that's all I have to share with you guys this week. Okay, after Sagittarius, we have Capricorn, and Capricorn, your energy is face down. So face down means that it's something blocked within your subconscious, and it is the Justice card. So the Justice card this week is showing what goes around comes around as well. Like tends to be a theme this week with karma just being like more prominent. It's almost kind of like comical in a way how fast people are getting their karma. You're seeing this, you're experiencing it as well, but it's more on a subconscious level. So feeling more of that, what goes around comes around, that's more of an internal reflection. So it's not like I'm, you know, like I spat on the sidewalk and as I'm walking up, I step on gum, right? So that's something that would be happening outside of us. Yours is more of an inner, what goes around comes around, where it's more of a self-reflective, where it's like, oh, shoot, I really had to dig deep into there and be like, wow, that is almost directly what it is. Like, I have an example, but I can't share because of confidentiality, but literally like really seeing what goes around comes around. But exactly what I just said, where, you know, it's a subconscious inner thing where I can't share it with you. I can't share it with others, but I know that that was 100% a karmic, what goes around comes around. So it's not going to be, like I said, as easy as saying I stepped in gum after I spat on somebody, you know, like it won't be like that. It'll be something a lot deeper. Okay, if you are an Aquarius, this week we have Knight of Wands, so young fire energy. Aquarius energy is saying when it comes to this young fire energy, so a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, there are two cards that are blocking that relationship. First card is the Eight of Swords, so powerless, like thinking that you are powerless. And then the Empress card. Oh, wow. So there is a level of fertility. So when I say fertility, I mean more than just like hormones, right? I mean like actually being able to give birth to something, right? Like everything in the world is somebody's creation, is something that had to come form the thought formed and then come into fruition. So it is very biological in a way, because when it comes to creating a baby, it is that thought, hey, you want to start a family, or hey, do you want to have sex? And then you come together with that person that is on that same frequency, that same wavelength, and then you're able to create something, a child, a book, a story, a blog. Each situation needed somebody else in order to come in to bring it to fruition, whether it was your web designer or whether it was, your publisher. Somebody else has to come in. So when it comes to this Knight of Wands, this young fire energy that feels masculine because it's fire, the Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, you think that you're powerless, but actually you two created what is now happening. So you were never powerless when it comes to your relationship with the Knight of Wands. You actually came together with the Knight of Wands in order to create something. So you're 100% not powerless. You are fully empowered. You have half the power that the Knight of Wands. And I mean, like the Knight of Wands has 50%. You have the other 50% when it comes to something that you have created, whether it is just a conflict. Maybe that's what you put out into the world, a big ball of negative energy that's, seeping into this and that and this and that. And you have no control over it anymore because it's created such a ripple effect. As soon as you recognize that you were 50% in power when it came to creating this with the Knight of Wands, it means that you're 50% in power of being able to put an end to it or to allow it to manifest into something else, to innovate it. You have that power. And once you recognize that you have it, you then restore it. And then you can actively create and give birth to a new beginning within your relationship with the Knight of Wands. All right, if you are a Pisces, we have the Sun card, the Sun being like so super straightforward, positivity, creativity, gifts being brought to you. Like I'm seeing this young child here and they're missing a tooth, and it reminds me of like beautiful lies, right? Like sometimes personally, like I've struggled with lying before. I have like a lot of 12th house planets like the Pisces does. I have struggled with lying before. And one thing that I would always say is, do you believe me? Right? I would lie about something and then be like, do you believe me? Right? Like I'm talking like in high school. So with that beautiful lie, knowing that it's not the truth and almost expecting the other person to know it's not the truth, the reason why I'm being reminded of it is because it reminds me of the tooth fairy, right? That is straight up a lie. And we look at our kids pretty much being like, do you believe this? Do you believe that this mythical creature has taken your tooth and replaced it? I probably should whisper it. Replaced it with money, with coins, with power, with energy. Do you believe that? So when it comes to this week, Pisces, you're looking at the lies that have been so non-believable that it's almost believable that it was a lie. You're going to be exposed to that, being like, they not only believed it, but they gave you something in return for it. They not only believe that there exists a tooth fairy, but they also allowed you to accept that you got paid, you got energy from that lie. So this week, you are going to have to really look at it and come to terms with the fact that your lie is believable because it is so ridiculous. If you need help with this, please reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at Beyond Your Sun Sign, or I have my details below to get in touch with me. I hope you all have an amazing week, and I will see you next week. Bye.